Hi, we're back. Hope you didn't miss me too much. I think this worked. I wasn't gonna try to figure it out. Down, down, down. Okay.
Yeah, just take your fucking time.
Emergency unlock activated.
Welcome back, sweeties.
Drowning in a sensory deprivation tank is not the kind of wet I like to be, Robert.
Uh-huh. You know, this is really fucking immature, guys.
Serves them right. You let your guard down, you perish.
That's a pretty fucked way to live.
Emphasis on live.
Oh my god.
Please tell me she did
You
an
do
okay job.
realize that sabotaging each other
She was
isn't
the
going to
worst
guarantee
choice for
a solid
this.
team, right?
Honey, this is why I didn't send you on this one.
There's a drug deal happening at the Torrance airport right now. I think you should send the bad guy. He seems right for the job.
I feel like I shouldn't send the bad guy, but we're gonna send the bad guy.
Me? Right, yes. Drug bust? Fuck yeah. My
Yep. Everybody back? Everybody back?
two favorite things, drugs and boobs.
What's this do? Anyways. What do you mean it's frozen? Wait, what do you mean it's frozen? Oh, sorry. Is it frozen for anybody else? Good? Oh, okay. I do apologize for that, everybody. It would not let me, like, end my TikTok stream without, putting more effort into it. So, yeah, I've done that now, and, I've learned something.
So, Turtle fans moved in, flipped a grill, started a fight, and ruined a bunch of hot dogs.
Okay, you're going out there, and you know what? I haven't sent
Look,
Golem.
different.
You mean better?
Huh? Wait, on call with 2 slots. Okay, wait, you chat, you're Lovelies, you're blocking the thing I need to read right now. It's so funny, because I'm like, what does this say? What does it say right now? So we're going to move you over here to there. I'm going to do this for a second so I can read it. Okay, on call with crate slots may grant... Ooh, interesting. Okay, very interesting. What am I eating? Oh, I was eating pizza before. Oh, right now? Nothing? Oh, I was eating pizza before.
If anybody tries to mess with me, it's gonna get sludged. I'll let
Do
you
I-
figure out what you think that means.
You keep trying to touch me with the weird fucking clammy hands.
Yeah, baby, those will keep her busy for a while.
Run. I'm sorry. Ah, shoot.
Ugh, I need a shower. A long one.
Okay. Well, I apologize. Speak to the victim, gather intel on the scam. You're good at this, aren't
Consider
you?
it done.
Why is he so good with that? Why does this massively increase the... You know what? Let's see what happens.
Whatever. Are we heading to the pub after work?
Can't. Niece has a dance recital.
Damn.
Wait a second. Are you telling me... Give me a second. Sorry. Dance recital? He has a niece with a dance recital? Are you telling me he's a good guy? He's kind of cute. He's just... Flambe is adorable. Can't go to the pub afterwards. My niece has a dance recital.
Plug my ears with my socks. If I get blisters, I'm fucking suing.
Oh, oh, it's so cute. Ooh, that's a close one. This is a close one. Come on. What is going on today?
Be right back. Just gotta go powder my cocaine.
Wow, we are sucking. You're the niece? I believe it.
Dude, you promised me you were gonna cut back.
I will, right after this bump. And like 4 more bumps.
Been a while since I had to call in a coke-related favor. But this shit was worth it for sure.
Ugh, fuck you.
Sending me? You must be pretty fucking desperate. It's
All right.
cool though, you know? Desperate's kind of my type.
Ah, shit. Well, better luck now.
We suck. I mean, I suck. Hello, Boku. Am I being stupid? Is that what's happening here?
I didn't
Oh,
know
no, they're
dogs
just-
could be so huge and menacing.
What? He's been compensated. I gave him half my breakfast burrito.
This is insane. You would restart the game? I refuse. Okay.
I've evaded capture by 7 foreign agencies.
Yeah.
I can evade a fucking dog.
Oh, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. I keep sending them out together. And what's happening is that they keep sabotaging each other. So I'm expecting them all to go together as a team, and I'm like looking at this massive number being like, oh, they're going to succeed because I've put these two on the team together. And they keep sabotaging each other, and then only one makes it there. That's what's happening. Okay, I'm not crazy. I'm like, these had massive success rates. What's going on? It's like because they're making it so that they can't work together. So honestly, we might just send people out by themselves this time. There we go. Much better.
All right, fine. That's good. Wow, you're on fire today.
Oh, this? I'm just warming up.
Ooh.
You got someone that can figure out how to stop a landslide?
Stand aside.
As hot and threatening as that sounds, I'm not going anywhere. We're tied for the bottom with fucking Invisigal.
Not for long.
Baberto, my boy, excellent choice. First of many we could make together.
Shit.
Y'all!
Maybe if you weren't so busy fucking around with each other.
We're trying. This is good. This is so good. Oh, we have a 30-second ad. We're gonna wait here for a second, but I want to talk about how incredible this is. Because like this is organically building this tension that I have to deal with these annoying people. And it makes sense story-wise. It's not just being like ridiculously difficult. It's still in lore while making sense, progressing forward. They're sabotaging each other. They're not just making it impossible for me to succeed. So this is building this up as a failure for me, as a story element. This is so cool. I was at a doctor's appointment and my phone was dead. That's why I was late. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
Sonar, you have signed your death warrant.
Worth it. Next time, don't promise a man boobs.
No one promised you anything.
Okay, well.
Ugh, I feel pruny.
Okay, let's see what we have here.
Ugh, what the fuck, dude? Wow, betrayed by a fellow degenerate.
It was expensive, but so worth it.
All right, ditch him. She's got the mobility for it. Well, how was the gym? Was it nice? 10. I say 10.
What's the matter, kid? Can't climb fire escapes? Idiot.
Ugh,
What happened?
she's fine. Just walked into my sword with her face a little bit.
I don't believe in punching women, but I do believe in punching demons.
Okay, catch up with
try
Rowdy
it.
fans. I'm gonna give you all
On it.
one last chance. You two have been doing so great together. Please, please work well together. Please, I love you both so much now.
Excellent choice. You know, given my place on the leaderboard and all.
Oh, thank you.
Don't be intimidated.
Thank you.
It's just business. Everybody should step back.
They're the best. Not look at them. Look at them working together.
Hey, so like my friend's boyfriend was like bragging about how he pretends to be SDN and scams people. He's a real piece of shit.
Hey, Robert. I'm pretty sure I've got the scammer
Okay, so we're
on the
gonna.
line.
Oh, watch this. We got this. We got this. We need a success here, so we're just gonna. Do.
Still got it. All right, let's see where this asshole is. Warmer.
Wait, what are we doing? Oh, match the frequency. Got it. Okay.
Okay, not over here. Nearly there.
There it is. Come on. Shoot.
Got him.
Oh! Thank you for the check-in, Dark Leopard. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Can we get some help over here? The lot is packed. No one moved in like an hour.
Okay, reroute traffic. Who is going to be rerouting traffic? Who's going to do good with this? I feel like that's lift their spirits, grab their attention. Okay, we need a good speaker. Honey Bunch, I'm relying on you for this one.
Okay, I see you. Picking from the cream of the crop.
Halt the traffic before it crashes, rescues the precious cargo.
Oh, what's it going to be this time?
You ain't got a lot going for you, but I believe in you. Okay, sweet. How about we get you some more charisma, intellect? I think you're solid for those. We have the swapping if we need that for the hybrid. Sick. Okay, who else do we have? What else do we have? Mm-hmm. Is that it? Okay. They're gonna sabotage each other if I send them together. God, y'all are freaking... Look at that! Look at my boys! Look at my boys!
Well done.
All right, chat, which one's your favorite? Who's your favorite pair? Because, like, these guys are doing such a good job right now. I'm loving him. I'm loving him so much. He's just... Let's throw some vigor on you. I don't want you to get bruised in an altercation or something. And you... Let's throw some charisma. Would Malvola get along with Golem? Maybe, hypothetically. Do you think maybe if I were to, like, beef and chase? Ooh, no! Ah!
Well, there's definitely room for improvement.
Okay, what do you have got? What do you got for me? What do you got for me? Come on. Yes!
And another one.
My old man bones. My bones aren't that old. Old Chase, Robert, Invis, and Beef. I mean, I'm on this team, on the Z team.
Headed towards the alley on Street.
I'll handle this. I'll slice it next time.
No. Honey, you don't have the stats for the... You can't handle... You're gonna fail, and it's gonna be my fault.
I'll behave.
Why?
Maybe.
Why is she going?
Stay out of my way. Fuck off.
What are you doing in Visigow?
Not getting cut?
It's like you said, the way to win this leaderboard game is to not lose, right?
Yeah, that's not what I said.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
I am a glowing hair down, my girl. How'd you know? No! Come on, baby girl! Just behave yourself! Hi, Dolkin. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Menagerie.
Yeah, so the perp that just ran by was lightning struck. This is now the second time that you let him get away.
No shit.
Magical girl.
That's crazy. Oh, chill out.
Show.
I'd normally say cut her, but the way things are going, I'd cut the whole damn team. You need a reset, Robbie.
All Z team back to base and in the conference room in 20 minutes.
I'm actually a 30,000-year-old anime girl. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Really. Lack of team synergy. Mm-hmm. We still love... Oh, thank you. Chad, I'm actually 80 years old. I'm just super cool. Please. I kind of want to be an anime girl. I think that'd be so cool. All right, here we go. We got that Southern Boys coming out right now.
I was about to hit the gym to give Teresa a workout.
Can everybody take a seat so we can get started? Hey, can I get your attention, please? I would like to get started.
Oh, looks like this motherfucker got the power of light.
Oh, Bobby boy, watch where you're going at.
Oh, serves you right.
Now I can't tell if that thing was right or wrong.
I understand you're big, but you need to be considerate of the people around you.
You in trouble?
Have a seat.
Wait a second.
I'll sit on the floor.
Suit yourself.
What's going on?
Oh,
I'm excited for this. I want to see it. Come on. Let me discipline them. This is gonna be so cool. All right, I'm ready. I'm so ready. Come on, let me talk,
So we getting
please.
the party started?
Yeah, what's this shit about? Let's go. Come on. Fucking wasting my time. Let's go.
Okay. As you know, by the end of today, one of you will be cut from the Z team.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, you said that already.
Cut me from a job I didn't want in the first place.
Miss Blazer, maybe if you gave us a dispatcher who knew what they were doing, you wouldn't have to throw no one out.
Hey, Nikki Mirage, I'm standing right here. You can talk to me.
I wasn't talking to you, bitch. Which weak-ass superhero team did you come from? Fucking Geek Squad?
Doesn't matter where I'm from, Cardi C. What matters is I'm here to figure out who stays and who goes.
Yeah, chill out, lady. Ha ha. Let the man talk.
Lady, haha. Ooh,
The
girly.
motherfucker over here looking like Mumford fucked all his sons.
That was funny. See? You're just busting balls.
Keep talking. You won't have your
Girl,
tummy
spicy.
and your balls left to bust.
Ask next time, or there won't be a next time.
Don't threaten me, you butter knife bitch.
Okay, I'll make this
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Most
Look at them
people
boys.
will look around this room and see a bunch of villains. Not even the super kind, just plain ass, run-of-the-mill, vanilla fucking villains. But that's not what I see. Because lucky for you, I'm not most people. When I look around this room, what I see is...
Did you not plan this ahead of time?
Fear.
Fear.
Got there in the end.
You're afraid you're gonna fuck it up again. Like
I
the
took
last
too
time
long,
somebody
and she
gave
was
you a
like,
shot.
nah.
And the time before that, and the time before that. You're afraid of letting people down again. You're afraid of letting yourself down. If you want this time to be different than those other times, I'm here to help.
Nah, but fear makes sense.
You're all part of the Phoenix program. Any of you know what a phoenix is?
Ooh, city in Arizona.
Yeah, the sweltering ball sack of America.
Come on,
Florida's the
really?
And Louisiana's got to be the ball sack. Just, position.
The phoenix, according to legend, is a beautiful bird of prey that was so tired of its immortality, it tricked the sun god into dropping a spark on its nest to set it ablaze, burning it to shit. But
Really?
instead of dying, the phoenix emerged from ash, reborn. All of you in this room are phoenixes, and it's obvious what that means. But for you dumb ones, I'll spell it out. The phoenix symbolizes redemption. It's what you're here for. It's what connects everyone in this room. To burn up who you were to become who you were meant to be.
Phoenix is also a lame-ass band my lame-ass roommate listens to.
You're late.
I like that band.
You would. What are you talking about? I was here the whole time. I turned invisible, genius, remember?
Great. Then you know we're cutting someone, and you, Miss Hot Topic Sale, are at the bottom of the leaderboards.
I like that band.
Have a better second shift.
Fuck, I need this job.
What for, coupe? We all know you'll just be working the roulette wheel.
That's a croupier, you idiot.
The fuck's a croupier? You're a degenerate gambler.
Yep. Good speech, though. Good speech. I like it. He did good. I'm proud of him. Yes. All right.
Great speech back there, Robert.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, everyone, you heard the man. Get out
Please
there.
work
Stellar
together.
dispatching.
Please work together. I need them to work together. Come on.
My client requires protection while he does some shopping.
I remember
All right.
this man, and he's right to be paranoid. Secret police hired me 3 years ago to kill him. He pissed off the wrong dictator, who shall remain nameless.
Okay. Protection. Fend off. Girl, I'm giving you a chance. You've let me down every time so far. Show me what you got.
Citizens, it's me, your Lord and Savior.
Come on. You can do this. Don't let me down. Oh, heck. Sure, I'll throw another combat point up in there. Uh-huh. She's got this. Enjoy your disappearing.
Hey, busy. I just got Robert's joke.
What joke?
Offer
Come
me
on.
a seat. I just got it.
Come on.
Bro, that was like 3 hours ago.
Yes, we do.
Some
All right.
bitch just cut me in line at the Utopia concert.
All right,
I've
come
been
on,
here
come
for
on, you
12
got this.
fucking hours.
Smooth it out.
Heck,
I like her.
you basic fat bitch. You got super hearing and you use it to listen to a girl who knows 4 chords and can't write a song to save her life.
Say what you want. It's catchy.
Unbelievable.
Oh, it is so good. It's so good. You basic
Yo, Mal,
bat.
what kind of music you got in your heavy rotation right now?
You know, honestly, it's a lot of ska, but I had like a really big techno yodeling phase recently too.
Show her real star power.
Anything good you'd recommend?
Depends. Do
Get
you
it.
like the sensation
Get it, girl.
your ears bleeding?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, all for me.
Amazing. Lover. Okay, ooh, I think we could round out her. She's got some good combat. You know, let's throw in some intellect up in there. Nice. I'm having so much fun. I'm gonna be honest. I'm loving this game. I'm sorry if you're not getting the as much attention as you deserve. I'm definitely like so into this.
Outside my store, they're creeping everyone out.
All right, identify the loiterers. Recruitment goals, tell them to disperse.
On the move.
I believe in you, baby girl. You just chilling? Oh, I appreciate it. Ah, they do so good together. I gotta send them together. I gotta send them together. Oh, I won't survive. I won't. I need to think of a good TikTok today. Oh, no. Let's destroy the literature. I'm glad I hope you're. Oh, we nailed that.
Hey, fit like a glove.
Ready, set, fire.
God, he's so good. I love him.
There's a bunch of men in the basement of the Giga Burger for some kind of fight club. I don't know how they
No.
got here, but they need to go.
There's
Okay.
been fighting tourneys ever since the first chimp made a fist. You're crazy if you think you can shut this down.
Shut down the underground fight ring. Girl,
Okay.
don't let me down.
Mark my words, we ain't stopping nothing. So you might as well send me in.
Yeah, but you're resting, baby girl.
My client requires protection at lunch with the governor of California.
But he's still alive. Are you going soft on us, Coop?
Please. They couldn't pay. So, I canceled the job. No cash, no kill. So far, SDN's always paid on time and in full, so as long as the check's clear, I will kill or protect as they see fit.
I thought they didn't let us kill people around here.
As they see fit. Aren't
There
you
we go.
persistent?
That is Jacksepticeye. This is Jacksepticeye. Hey, Moreau. Good to see you, sweetie. All right, you got this, right? You nailed this one. You nailed this one, you too? Yeah, look at that. There's no way you lose this. That's how we do.
Word on the street is the tourney just relocated. Coop would know where.
I'm on it.
Lunch enjoyed. Nice, nice, nice. Look at them doing it. Look how good they're doing. All right, cool. You go find that attorney.
I've learned from my sources that the next tournament will be held at the refinery in 1 hour.
Okay, I think I need to flesh you out a little bit more. So we're going to throw in a touch of vigor because I think it's going to be nice to round you out a little bit. Oh, come on.
Robert, send me in to compete. I'll win so hard.
Yes.
Every bookie in Torrance.
Yes. Fight. I believe in you. You got this, Jack. Woo!
Punch up. You will be magnificent.
Let's learn to fly. Well, officially. Legally. Your flight-capable heroes need a flight license.
All right, go get a flight license, apparently.
You think the SDN can be bribed? Maybe this whole leaderboard thing goes away.
That is critical. That is most critical. Dude is doing solid work there. I did not recognize that until now. Also, no bed sheets yet. Fine. I actually just bought bed sheets, so you're fine. But he's doing good. He's doing solid. Can you be free? No, of course not, Toga.
Bribes? Doubtful. But how do
No.
you think they feel about menacing threats?
Oh, no.
Desperate fucks.
Coop, go help him out.
25.
What?
This is our 25th time being paired together.
Yeah, but who's counting?
I am.
Oh, yeah. I guess so.
Don't disappoint me, man. You got it? Okay, good, good. He got it. He got it. We're good. We're good.
My client requires protection at the Torrance Pier.
One sec. You can have your husband rock band. I don't know what that means, but sure. Okay, they need protection. Bend off attacks. Let's give you some more.
Fucking rocks.
And you know what? Yeah, we're not gonna mess around with this one.
Golem, you fuck with potpourri?
I fuck with potpourri so hard, bro.
Dang, okay, I see you. We gotta dry some flowers now, bro.
Shit,
What?
I'm free this weekend.
What? Wait. No, they're not going together to go to go try some flowers on the week. I love the characters. Yo, Golem, you fuck with some potpourri? Yeah, I fuck with some potpourri. What you doing this weekend? we need to get together and try some flowers. Oh, toga! I forgot. Yes. We will find it. Hello, not Demon. Demian Damon. Hi. Thank you for the follow and welcome to Menagerie. God, they're so cute. They're so cute. Get on the air with Bone Zone. Participate in a friendly debate. Oof. Okay. I'm glad I gave you a little bit of intelligence. I think you can nail this, but we're gonna throw in.
No way I'm doing that.
Can you do it?
Sweet ass.
Wish you the best of luck.
Radios are for music. Fuck that guy.
Yo,
If you'd like to tell me.
About your position at the top of the leaderboard.
One sec.
Don't be jealous.
Oh,
I took
easy.
a little peek at your file. Apparently you've contained more fires than anyone else on the team.
I'm like a psychic, man. I can sense where they're going to be before they happen.
Listen, there's a lot of potential here for a good housing insurance scheme. You just need a middleman. I could be your guy.
Ah, interesting. You know, if I'm ever in the market for a rat with wings, I know where to find you. Well, hold the fuck up. Punch. You and Coop took out 12 guys in 2 minutes?
Oh, back in the day, our force in the West was 14.
14 guys. What the fuck? How?
Punch-Up's got a special technique. Real classy stuff. Maybe if you ask nice, I'll tell you about it.
Thank you for the check-in.
Are sealed.
But yeah, no, if I... Please definitely correct me if I mispronounce your name. I have horrible, understanding of the names, especially when there's no spaces. So I will happily take corrections. I appreciate any corrections, by the way. Mm-hmm.
You owe me one.
Add it to me tab.
Ooh. Yeah. Honey Bunch, come on. Whatever. Oh. Okay. Who do we have on this mission? We could go either way with this. Chat, your choice. Challenge the assassin, or shield the client. What do you think? You know what? We'll vote for it. You ready? Should I call you Embry? How about I call you Jinx? How about I call you Jinx? Is that better? Here, we're gonna do a poll. All right, here we go. You ready? You ready? Challenge or shield? Challenge. Shield, please vote in the poll. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, Demi. And Damien. Demi and Damien. Okay, see, if you put the dashes in there, I would have gotten that one. Jinxie. Yeah, of course. Saf. Is it Sif? Is it Sif? Sifra? That's right. That's how you pronounce it, right? Sifra? Thank you for the look, nap time. And while you vote, I'm going to take a bite of my pizza. Give me a second. Right, Sap Hero. There's 20 of you voting for S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. 20 people voted for S.H.I.E.L.D. That is way more than I thought were paying attention. Ooh! Okay. Shoot, do I have nobody I can send on this? Somebody make it home already. Ooh. Ooh. Wrecked. Yeah, exactly. But tier 2B. I got it. Oh, this pizza's amazing. I love this pizza.
truck spotted. Urgent care on Bakersfield Street. Do you mind if I smoke?
Close your eyes. You're not gonna like what you see anyway.
Hey, Vizzy, watch me catch this electric asshole.
What do you mean? The pizza is good. I'm very happy. Ah, we missed one. I wish she would go let me send her out places, but she just refuses to get sent out. Kind of pizza? Sausage pizza with a cheddar on it. It's very tasty. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. 7681. Nailed it.
Looking sharp.
Yes. All right, what do we have here? I think we're gonna throw some more vigor at him. I like him as our big shield boy. Close that.
Pretty breathtaking work back there.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. This shit is weird. It's like we're working, what's the word? As a team.
Uh-huh. Baby, that's got a name. It's teamwork.
Isn't that like a sexting?
What type of sexting would that be?
It's not really safe for work. You know? I'll text it to
Vanya, thank you for the resub.
Oh, damn, boy. That's some fucking teamwork, all
Can we
right?
get 5 big barks? Bark, 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 bark. Fine, because I have the audio muted. I will give you the barks. Bark, 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 bark. You happy? Or do you want the ruff, 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 ruff? There you go. There you go. I got back. I got spaghetti. Oh, nice. Bring me spaghetti.
Invisigal, where are you going?
Stop taking people's headphones, chap. Ruff. Vonnie with the founder badge. Vonnie with the founder.
There you go. One more strike against me. You gotta get rid of somebody, right? I'm making it easy for you.
No.
Oh, that's
You're
why she's been throwing a fit.
You're not making it easy for me. You're making it easy for you.
You don't get it. Some people are born to be heroes. I'm not one of them. I tried. Just wasn't meant to be.
Honey Bunch, come on.
Blazer, Phenomena Man, they have hero powers. Strong out there for all to see.
Flying through the sky. Nothing to hide.
What's your point?
I have fucking villain powers. I can turn invisible and skulk in the shadows. My powers let me steal shit and watch famous people fuck. Being a villain is my fate. It's in the fucking stars. In the same way that blonde Blazer was always meant to be a hero.
Fate
It's bullshit. It's just something we cling to because we think we're the main character of life. We're not.
True.
We're a bunch of flesh blobs with depression on a floating rock.
You can have some food from my kitchen. Go for it.
Yeah, because no one's paying attention if you want to switch things up.
Yeah, you can do whatever you...
You've
Chat.
already been a hero.
You know what? No. We're going to do this real quick. Y'all, there is nothing stopping you from doing anything right now. You can go to whatever you do now, dressed up like a freaking superhero, or you can go dressed up like a punk, a goth, or whatever. You can, at any time in your life, you can choose to just change your entire life. There is nothing stopping you except maybe debt and prison. Don't explode. Von is not allowed to explode. But everybody, you can do freaking anything. I mean, like, do you know how often I tried doing content creation for once in multiple different ways and trying a bajillion different things to finally get here? And now I have cool people like y'all here. Okay, well, look, the basement bars will keep you in place. So, I mean, if we want to get like real, you could drop everything right now, abandon it, change your name, wear a different outfit, and go live in another city, and they're not going to find you. They will not. You're not going to live well, but you will live, and there's so much stuff you can do. You've got this. I believe in you all. Just, you know, don't live a life that you're just a passenger in. Go for it. Be a VTuber. Screw it. Don't just be a passenger. You got this.
You have no idea what I'm dealing with.
Oh, get out of here. At least you were born with powers. I don't have shit. So according to your dumbass theory, I should be an accountant.
You aren't far off.
Fate, destiny, not having powers, seasonal depression.
I needed the viewers. That's why I kidnapped
From
you.
being a hero before. And they won't keep me from being a hero again. Oh my god. You want to talk about fate?
That lightning-struck fuck that's been on a spree is 2 blocks from your location. Maybe the third time's the charm.
I told you. I'm out.
You really want to let this idiot get one over on you a third time?
What makes you think it'd be any different?
The day's not done. Get this guy and it could make a difference.
He stole a roll of pennies out of the cash register at Granny's. I don't think he's moving the needle.
Oh, he's about to steal $250,000 of jewelry.
Oh, shit.
Respect?
So go move the needle.
Or are you just gonna sit there and subject kids to secondhand smoke?
And you know what, chat? Let me be proof. If I make it as a content creator, then y'all can do it. Y'all can do whatever. I will be the proof for y'all. Give me like 6 months tops, and hopefully we'll be there. What's not blue? Gunpowder? I do not smell like gunpowder.
Don't do it. Don't fucking get.
Why would his headset be?
He's the one I bummed it from. What's the address?
Shut the fuck up!
What's a void? All good, all good. I have pizza. Makes me happy.
You ain't worried about a hero crashing the party?
Nah. Load that up.
Practice hands. Okay, why would his... No. Nap time. Why would his headset be blue? Why would it be blue? Come on. Now I'm curious. You're like, it's blue. Why isn't it blue? Why isn't it blue? What do you mean? Why should it be blue? When was it blue? I don't think it was.
Where's your boy?
I think you're lying.
Ah, you, donut girl. You sure you want to do this again?
Here we go. We have to help her, so get ready.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just help me find this fucker.
Got him. He's at your 5 o'clock.
It's not fair that you...
Bye, meow kitty. Mwah. Thank you for coming by.
I'm flying blind here. I can't see anything. Great. Give me a second to tap into this.
Come on. All right, step up.
All right. A little more tricky.
Sure, take your time.
Shh. I need quiet. Oh, fuck.
What? What is it?
Antivirus. There you are.
Got it.
Got it. I can see again.
Are you talking about the light? We talking about the light on it?
I can't see him from this camera. Let me try.
Oh, Honey Bunch, the red light is referring to him being in this certain communication right now. The blue light is a different call. It's when he's in a different call mode. He's just in this kind of call mode right now. You can actually see the light. So the red light is just a power button, and that's why it's lit up red. The blue light's going to be lit up for when he's in a different kind of call. Yes. That's why each of the lights have a different lighting on it. The red is power. It has a circle and a line on it, which is the power symbol. I mean, it might be lit up red because he's in a call right now, but it is a circle with a line on it. Okay, but I mean, it 100% is the power symbol, which is a circle and a line.
Shit.
All right, 1 second. I believe you all. And it could be not a power button, but it is lit up like a power button.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
Bye.
Invisigal, I got a plan.
All right, here we go. All right, we ready for this?
Fuck you.
3, 2, 1. And got it. Honestly, it's kind of impressive you noticed that. Did I miss the surprise? What surprise?
On the count of 3, I'm going to turn
Hello,
on the main
L.
overhead lights, which should temporarily
What's the
blind
surprise?
you.
1 second, let me go to chat.
1, 2,
and here we go. 3.
3.
Come on. Get it, girl. Moose. Pokemon. Hello, Pokemon.
No hero. Fuck, no, let me
Thank you
try
for the
it.
check-in.
Now you see me? Wait, what about lights out, Thundercuck?
I'm sorry, what?
That's the one. Would have been better if you said it first.
Right, because lightning, thunder, struck, so close.
Welcome back. Hey, it's been a while, Ari. What's up? Welcome.
Hey, Bengal boy. More like Bengal bitch. Or bitch boy. Hey, Bengal bitch boy, fuck you.
Hey, Bengal bitch. Boy, fuck you. Stretch. I'm not an old man.
Why are those assholes not being assholes?
Isn't this what you were going for?
Yeah, but I didn't think it would work.
Thank you.
I don't get it.
So, this one?
Oh. Okay. No, you're right. It's not a power button. I apologize. From the first look, it looked like a power button. It's definitely a globe.
It's the comm line one-on-one. This one connects to the whole team, and this one goes out to the entire branch.
Fuck.
Good job. Yeah, you got off light. One dispatcher broadcast the details of his botched circumcision. HR nightmare. Did you mean all that? You really think she has a shot? All that stuff about fate sounded good, but I don't know if you were just saying what you thought she needed to hear.
Yeah, everyone has a shot. People
Well,
are who
good
they
to see
choose
you.
to be. If Invisigal wants
glad you're
this,
back.
she has to commit. It's too easy to quit when you're not good at something.
It's a steep learning curve.
I've just always had a voice like this. But you can, if you would like a deeper voice, you can work on lowering your larynx. Larynx?
textbook.
Until you get like here.
really
You can go lower. And we can go even
So
lower.
it's between sonar.
But the lower
and
you go,
What?
the tighter
That's
it
not no.
gets.
Invisigal's still at the bottom of the board.
Oh, the one in the bullpen? That thing updates every hour. Invisigal moved up. Catching lightning struck really gave her a huge boost.
Angle boy, really?
The donut shop.
Hi,
escape
Makia.
slipped
What's up,
past
what's
the
up?
level, now the jewelry store really bumped up the wanted levels.
It's like missing the free throw on purpose to get the putback.
Yeah, exactly. I don't watch football, but I get it. Look, I know I'm not supposed to play favorites here, but even if she was on the bottom, I'm not sure I'd have let you cut her.
Then it's a good thing she's not.
Yeah. So, these two are now tied for last place. Who do we cut?
No!
Or Coop?
No!
It's your call. I support it all the way.
No! Ah! No! I don't want to kick either of them. I mean, look. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna have to remove Coop. Coop is amazing, though. No, Coop has been amazing so far. Like, I've played her so well, and she's worked really well. You know what? Thank you for the follow. Thank you, and welcome to the menagerie. Okay, chat. I don't want to make this choice. So, no. She does amazing with Jack. Her and Jacksepticeye do amazing together. Like they have a perfect synergy. So I don't want to make this choice. You ready? Y'all gonna have to vote. Sorry, Mucka. We're about to vote off one of the two people who get kicked off. But I'm also going to give you the ability to spend points on the one that you want to stay. So the more points you have, the better chance you get this. Are you ready? And we can also do make no choice. We'll also have the option to make no choice. So ready? We're going to make a poll. Because I don't want to decide who we vote off. Coop. Sonar. Don't choose. Let timer run out. We're going to allow additional votes. Each vote's going to cost you 1,000 points. Are you ready? You ready? Go. Hi, Calypsy. How you doing, by the way? I guess we should have some background music. No way. Y'all have 1 minute. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna groove here a little bit. But how's everybody doing today? Y'all having a lovely evening? I've been really, really appreciating y'all just hanging out with me, having some sick vibes, and being the cool cats I know you are. Sorry, I feel like a radio DJ right now. Coming at you with those smooth hits, the kind that'll rock your soul and free your mind. It's been a day, just glad I'm here today. I'm glad you're here too. I'm glad every one of you are here. Fed up with your job? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Ooh, 46%. That was much closer than I was expecting. Spent 4K, good lord. All right. Are you ready? Ooh. All right. Bye, Coop. Honestly, I spent a lot on Sonar, so I kind of had to kick a Coop anyways.
If I'm honest, she still feels a little...
Evil?
Yeah.
That's too bad. All right. I'll get started on the paperwork.
I'll let her know. Feels important that I do.
Okay, can I cheat? Can I cheat real quick? Can I go back and can we see what happens if I don't pick anybody? And I just want to see what happens. I just want to see what happens if I don't pick anybody, and then we'll pick Coop anyways. Okay? No, we'll pick Coop no matter what. I just want to see what would have happened because we have a last save 5 minutes ago, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna play. We're gonna resume.
So, it's between Sonar and Coop.
What? That's not no.
So we're just gonna sit here and what
still
happens.
At the bottom of the board.
Oh, the one in the bullpen? That thing updates every hour. Invisigal moved up. Catching lightning struck really gave her a huge boost.
Bangle boy, really?
The donut shop escape, slipping past Malevola, now the jewelry store.
Here we go. Let's see what happens.
Bumped up the wanted levels.
It's like missing the free throw on purpose to get the putback.
Yeah, exactly. I don't watch football, but I get it. Look,
That
I
was
know I'm not
basketball,
supposed to play
but nice try,
favorites,
sweetie.
but even if she was on the bottom, I'm not sure I'd have let you cut her.
That is a good thing she's not.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
These two.
Let's see what
are
would have
now
happened.
tied for last place. Who do we cut? Sonar or Coop? It's your call. I support it all the way.
What do we think is going to happen? I need some predictions here. What do you think? Do you think they're just going to be like, who cares? Or is she going to pick? If it keeps both, I'm going to be so angry.
Sonar it is. You gotta use.
Ho. Oh, it just picks automatically for you. Okay.
So
I didn't pick anything. I didn't click anything.
Sonar
It just auto-picked for me.
What? That's not no. Invisigal's still at the bottom of the board.
Oh, the
So,
one
yeah.
in the bullpen? That thing updates every hour. Invisigal moved up. Catching lightning struck really gave her a huge boost.
All right.
Bangle
Well,
boy, really?
we voted
the
Coop.
donut shop escape, slipping past Malevola.
I do like Jack
jewelry
and
store,
Coop's
really bumped up the
interaction,
wanted
though.
levels.
It's like missing the free throw.
I hope we can get her
purpose to
back.
the putback.
Yeah, exactly. I don't watch football, but I get it. Look, I know I'm not supposed to play favorites here, but even if she was on the bottom, I'm not sure I'd have let you cut her.
That is a good thing she's not.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
These two are now tied for last place.
All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what
Who
we
do we
got.
cut? Sonar or Coop?
I just
Your
noticed
call.
that Coop's
support it
completely
all the way.
blacked out. You don't see any of the crimes.
Coop. If I'm honest, she still feels a little.
Evil?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
She doesn't feel well,
All right.
she kind of does.
I'll get started on the paperwork.
Actually, she
I'll
keeps
let her
talking
know.
about how she would
It's
assassinate
important
people.
that I do.
Hey, Robert. Great work today.
I'm sorry, Moo Moo. I called you completely wrong name earlier. I apologize.
Coop, I'm sure you already know why I've asked you here.
You would be mistaken.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm letting you go. You're at
I called you the
bottom of
fake name.
leaderboards, I guess
That isn't your actual name.
Those penalties for, cutting people.
I need to learn your real name. I need to learn how to pronounce your normal name.
Cheered for Invisigal.
You did. I saw that. That was cool of you.
I only did that because I thought she was being cut.
Oh, that makes sense. A lot of sense, actually. Yeah, well, she snuck past you with the last dispatch. That's, wow, look at that. It's very menacing. Well, thank you.
Damn. Ruff, ruff. Honestly, you could probably make a compilation of all the names I mispronounced.
You accessorizing?
You could call it that.
Where'd you get that?
Coop. She left a souvenir for me after I cut her.
She threatening you, Robert.
I know. Trying to put a positive spin on it.
Hey, check it out. I've been doing some accessorizing myself.
You are spoiling him.
Nonsense.
You ready to go home, bud?
She moved up. Oh, look at her. No way. She's so cute. That was so sweet. Give me a
I still would have cut you.
Well, no one fucking asked you, old man.
Lucky fucking for you.
Thanks.
Oh. Oh, we got another hour. One more episode, everybody? One more? Yes? Yes? Yeah, let's get one more. I'm enjoying this. Oh, this game is just too good. It's so good. 76% of players threw a chair at Golem. I didn't want to throw him out of the room. He's a little slow. As you should, as you should. You and 24% of players sent Punch Up and Cooped. Yeah, this is why I wish I used her a lot, because she's like really mobile and really like attack heavy, so she's amazing. But oh, are we having an ad break soon? You know what? Oh, I forgot. We have already streamed. Did we? I forgot. We started at 4 and I canceled stream in the middle. Shoot. I guess it actually has been longer. All right. Little. Hello? 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 Oh. Girly, hi. What's happening down there? Oh. Ooh. Hey, it's me. I mean, not me, but... You know what? I think it's a good time for a little break. Let's take a little break. A little 5 minutes. Go get a pee. Stretch your legs. Vibe a little bit. And we'll play a little bit more. We chill? Yeah, I might need a... I'll need a moment. What, you want a 15-minute break? Where are you going, Moo? Yeah. All right. Well, we'll take a 5. We'll take a 5. I'll put the game up, and I'm gonna stretch my legs. All right. Hey, it's November, Chad. It's November. What are you doing? Pour some cold water over your face and get right back here. All right. We got a 5. We got a 5. Y'all did amazing. Y'all did amazing. Remember, one of these letters is fake. Not all of them are right. I want to see if you got this. By the way, if you voted on me not making it on time, guess what? Oh, shoot. You're wrong. But I'm still here. I'm still here. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. All right. We have... Where to go? Where to go? 86% of you voted I wasn't going to make it back on time. Really? Really? 86% of you voted I wasn't going to make it back on time? That's insane. Yes, I made it back on time. One of you got a bunch of points. One of you got a bunch of points. All right, come on. Let's see if you can make it. Oh, you already beat this one. You got it. Well, there you go, Discord Fox. You got the points. Anybody do rope? Oh, yeah, you did. Well done, y'all. Y'all did amazing. We're going to pause it. It's time to get back to the game, though. It's time for the real game, okay? I'm proud of you all. We got to play the game. Did y'all have fun? Did you miss me? I missed you. Oh yeah, I'm glad there was a filter. Ooh. Beef! Beef. Who's this stupid mascot in the back? Thank you for the head pats. Can I be honest? I'm not into her.
Oh, look, you see the way he's scrambling. He's crying, kind of.
Looking at on there.
Oh my god. Oh.
Coop was a friend of his. They used to date. You know, my last girlfriend was taller than me. She used to kiss me on my forehead a lot. It was nice. What are we talking about? Oh, right. Watch out.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry.
Nutcracking.
I'm not a big fan of Blazer, because I mean she's too like cookie cutter. You know what I mean? Never been a big fan of like cookie cutter. She's like everything about her is just like, yeah, that's the model's body. That's the body of a model. But I mean, like, not a fashion model, but she's just like so like cut out.
The problem with only cutting one of them is
I
now
like
you gotta deal with
uniqueness.
their pissy friends poisoning the rest of the team.
Come on, Chase. It's harmless. Who doesn't love an office prank?
Me, motherfucker. Don't even think about it. That's why I would come on. Thought it was that asshole. Why is she staring at you? Don't you got some work to do?
I don't know,
Don't
River.
you got some dementia to onset?
That one stung a little. Hey, Blazer's looking at backfilling your open spot with Phenomenon or Waterboy. You should think about who you'd want.
One of them is the poster boy of SDN and the other guy pukes water. What am I missing?
We now go live to the 405 where an unusual scene is unfolding.
Okay, is he depressed or did he lose his powers? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Depressed or lost his powers? Or both? Do you think maybe he lost his powers because he's depressed?
Shit, he looks rough.
Sorry.
Hey, I was watching that.
Oh, sorry.
Looks like there's no wrong answer.
Well, sometimes it's more about the person than the powers. And good thing, because it's the only reason anyone gave your sorry ass a job.
All right.
I don't think Phenomena is gonna like handle it at all, though. I don't know, River. What'd you do? I don't think he would be a good option for the work. Yeah, no, Phenomena is just like because he's gonna be too cocky, or he's gonna be too lame.
Oh, we good. All you, Mecha Man.
Oh, by the way, if you feel like there might be a lag and I'm not responding to you in the time that you like message, maybe you might need to refresh your browser or whatever app you're in. There might be a little bit lag. Just letting you know. Sometimes the lag kicks in. You just got to restart.
Simple locomotion.
Cool.
Complex locomotion.
Ooh. We onto something, bro.
Oh shit.
This is it.
Shadowbox.
This is gonna be it.
There we go.
The Mecha Man.
Yes.
Smile.
Yeah. I think Waterboy has the most potential.
Protopulse test 7. Failure.
No worries. We'll get there.
We should send. I think we should get like the Phenomena, get him on Team
Roy,
Z.
what is all this stuff?
Bring him back up, get him some wings,
all the
and then
confiscated
send him
stuff.
back out of there.
Cause we the bottom branch for SDN and we catch all kind of shit work, bro.
Did you just give me an up down?
We take one bad guy out and use him for catch the other bad guy. Only good thing, a lot of upgrade possibilities.
I know, Butter. I wish they weren't.
You ever jerk off in this thing?
No low, Vizzy.
I mean, obviously you have, right? I should really be asking how often.
Hey, come on. I gotta work on this.
All the time, actually.
Bro.
I like to bust after every big bust, you know? I was pretty successful, so you can imagine.
Sounds like loads of fun.
All the time, every
You
day.
got one weird energy going on, huh? Can you handle this HR violation some other place? I got work, yeah?
No,
Robert
go,
was
let's go after
just
Roy.
leaving.
Ignore her. Roy is hotter.
That's gonna be tough, because Blazer sent me to get you like half an hour ago, so...
She's also very attractive, don't get me wrong. But like, okay. No, here's my view on this. I need to discuss this real quick. We are kind of like bringing her up, right? We're kind of like teaching her how to do stuff. That is a protege. That is a person working for you. You don't do that with people who are under your wing. like as much as like she's very attractive, she's super hot. But like if we have this position, like we have this kind of position of power over her right now, especially like emotionally, it's just gonna be emotional manipulation. Whether or not she realizes it or not, but we're the first person to give her a chance. So it's, you know. Yeah, exactly. We're like a therapist right now. We are giving her the chance and letting her, and so it's going to be emotional manipulation. It's yeah. And also, Roy and me are equals. We're both chill and like we're working together on a project. Royd is perfect. You're right, Royd and not Roy.
Shit, Blazer. Sorry. You know what? I can come back.
Oh no, don't worry. I got this thing tonight.
Yeah.
And they were
Well, and that's
supposed
the
to
thing.
dress yesterday.
100%. Like, this is going to happen to you all. This will happen to you at some point in time where somebody's going to pursue you that shouldn't pursue you, and you have to be honest with them. It's hard, especially if they're extremely attractive and throw themselves at you. You'll be like, well, I mean, what's the harm? Like, we're both consenting adults here. Boundaries are important. Boundaries are important. Anyway.
This isn't why you're here, but can you zip me up? It's not mine, by the way. They make me wear it, then it's back in the bag by midnight.
See you soon. Come back soon.
What's happening today?
What's that?
What's happening today? The thing you're going to.
SDN sponsoring a dinner gala thing. Radiant Valor, a night of triumph.
Why does that sound like a propaganda rally? There.
Thank you. Yeah, it does kind of sound like some sort of
Right,
fascist-themed
Moo.
prom. What do you think? We're making alterations all morning.
Might be a little tight.
Are you trying to say I'm fat?
Far from it. I'm actually trying to subtly tell you that, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Poison. I hope it goes better.
All right, for real now. How do I look?
Not gonna say what I was gonna say.
Breakup
I'm gonna say what I
story's
was.
out, so I might be getting more attention than I'm comfortable with.
I think you.
I wish the censorship wasn't there.
Thanks. I was supposed to be going with him, but I don't
But also.
think he's gonna be making it. The downtown branch dropped him. Indefinite suspension.
Is that your car?
I don't have a car.
That's gonna be a weird insurance claim.
I'd like for you to talk to him.
Me?
I'll play it on my
You're
own.
the pep talk guy. You've been through a transition recently yourself. I think you could use some perspective.
Like perspective to join the Z team? Chase mentioned it.
Yeah. The only candidates that make sense are him or Waterboy.
Oh!
And at the moment, it's close. Mostly, I'd like you to get him out of the parking lot. Oh, and tell him to stop with the edible arrangements. He keeps sending them, but with all melon.
That's disgusting. I'll see what I can do.
Okay. The fan art of this game is going to be amazing.
Hey, you phenomenon. How you doing, bud?
I have been better, Robert Robertson. The blonde blazer and I have ended our relationship.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm sorry for your, your loss.
It's very abrupt. One moment we were savoring uni straight from the urchin. Next moment, I'm contemplating flying into the sun, absorbing all its energy and casting this planet into infinite darkness so that I never have to see her or anyone else ever again.
You can do that?
Maybe then I would be free of the torment in my soul.
You can.
Maybe then I could quiet my mind to these destructive thoughts.
Please don't extinguish the sun, phenomenon. We like it how it is.
Do you? These days I find its ability to rise each morning irritatingly optimistic.
Okay, but also, while he's not a good fit for the team, if he doesn't get a win, he's going to extinguish the sun, and I need the sun. We all need the sun. So honestly, I don't think we have much of a choice, because the option one is invite him to the team. Option two is let him extinguish the sun. The sun, just the sun. Give me eternal rest. Nap time. Please get a therapist. Give him a pity date. I'll date him. There we go. I'll doink Phenomena Man. We can see exactly how phenomenal he is.
Do you think there is someone else? Perhaps another lover could be the cause of all this. Maybe she met a person. An actual person.
I don't think so.
I am not a person. I just resemble one anatomically.
Look, I don't think there is, but even if there was, wouldn't that just make you feel worse?
I prefer when problems have solutions.
That's the thing, man. Phenomena. Man. Her feelings aren't a problem for you to solve. Blazer makes her own decisions, because that's what people do.
I know, I'm kind of confused. Well, he could be like a Kryptonian,
yeah,
you know.
She decided
he's Superman.
Doesn't want to be with you.
Perhaps the fact that I am not a person is contributing to my confusion.
Yeah, listen, you know what, while we're at it, no more edible arrangements.
I mean, sure.
They're just stinking up the break room.
It seems I have much to learn about people. Thank you. You've
You know
given
what
me a
he
great
needs?
deal to think about.
He needs a time of self-discovery.
Actually, no, not any time.
He needs
just
therapy.
sometimes,
He needs some time off work.
Barely any.
A friend
It seems
too,
the velocity
but
with which I sat up has shot shards of glass into your chest.
Well, shit.
Where's the shootout?
Parking lot. Didn't think taking a desk job would have me bleeding this often. What are you doing here?
I had a dream last night that we were fucking.
Cool.
Usually I don't remember my dreams, but this one was pretty vivid.
How did I do?
I didn't finish.
Not what I asked. We're talking about me. So this is why you've been
that is how
acting
I would
so
respond, by
weird
the way.
I'm doing that thing where I imagine being with someone, you know? See how it feels, how it looks.
Oh, she
You know,
lied.
Like
We saw.
trying on a dress.
You were there.
I could have been. I could be anywhere.
I chose to be here.
Oh, sorry. I tried not to. I tried not to do that.
Don't worry about it, water boy.
Sound.
Bathrooms are for shitting after your first coffee and picking shrapnel out of your chest. Not for whatever this is.
Oh, God, it's all water all the time.
For me.
It's. I know. My apologies.
It does feel like though, this definitely feels like a college student hitting on a teacher, you know? It's not right. There's gonna be somebody making erotica of it, but it ain't right.
You're a menace.
She's not mature enough for this. Right? Oh, she's gonna flirt with me all session.
Weird that Coop's gone.
Glad you made the cut though, dude. Imagine if it was Coop and Vizzy together.
I imagine Coop and Vizzy all the time.
I imagine Coop and Vizzy all the time. Dude is we should kick, I love Sonar, but man is a walking HR violation, and he's constantly being like, first off, hey, I'd like to bang everybody on the team. Second off, hey, I'd like to continue committing crime. Would you like to help me commit crime? Girl. You gotta have one. At least, like, he's not a threat. That's basically you. Hey! I mean, you're not wrong, but hey. Shut up.
Help us get this stuff out of the dorm, yeah? You guys do that kind of stuff, right?
Hey. Oh, load heavy furniture. Honey, if I send you on this, are you gonna behave yourself?
Someone need a bed.
I've been hearing a lot about some guy named Chad. I think he's trying to summon a demon.
Wait, wasn't there a cult of Chad?
Chad? Yeah. I mean, I do know where the church is. I could snoop around. Alright, on my way.
Thank you, honey, and investigate. Sonar, don't let me down. Sonar, don't let me down. Sonar.
Oh, sick.
I know, right?
Wait, they're excited to work together?
You know, people judge me when they first see me, but then they get to know me and they judge me even more.
Okay, resuscitate any survive. Chat help. 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 What does resuscitate? Does that need intelligence? Does that need the big heart, the vigor? Yeah. Do I just send people until it makes sense? What if I throw you there? Okay, who else is intelligent? Oh, our intelligence is This is sending way too much on this than needs to be, but like I am scared.
I got a coupon for a free mani at Denise's, but fair warning, Denise is a snitch, so don't tell her nothing.
You got this, right? I believe in you. You got this.
Robert, do you have eyes on my stapler? I think I left it at your desk.
Nope, I don't see it.
I feel like you didn't look.
I did. It took like 2 seconds. I didn't see it.
Can you look again?
Yeah, still don't see it, dude.
Shit.
Why do you need it? You're in the field.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, 46%. Okay, we need to help with this one. Review the tax
Sonar,
documents.
Can you look into their tax filings?
Oh, man. They're definitely up to no good.
It's so nerdy. Okay.
Freak some fuckers out.
Unload heavy. Okay, we're not going to do that one right now.
Hey, this is Jason from Nostalgia Alley. Someone just dropped off a box of games with a note saying there's a bomb inside one of them. Can you send someone?
Okay, I need to wait. We're going to see if we can wait this out. Get some people returning and resting. Can we get somebody? Ooh, bad boy. Bad boy.
That's good.
Bad boy? I believe in you. You got this, sweetie.
I have some buddies who live under a bridge up this way. And before you ask, yes, they're bats.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you for the check-ins. Hello, everybody. By the way, sorry I'm super distracted right now. Okay, rush them to the hospital is going to take mobility, and we have very little... so we're going to attempt... resuscitation. Give them the kiss of life, compress their chest. Compress their chest. Yeah! Woohoo! That's how we do it. All right. Do we have anybody that's coming off of rest soon? I want to see if we can send maybe 2 people out on this. Oh, baby! Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow.
I'm seeing improvement.
I haven't been here in a while. How you doing, Nightwear? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, thank you for the hydrate also. Man, we have the luck today. Hello. Oh, yeah. Okay. You know what?
Interesting.
This is a risk. I don't think she's going to succeed. But we're going for it. How you doing, Alia?
This is too much.
We're out of somebody's. You're gonna have to make do.
You sound like my first manager. I fired his ass.
Really didn't think this one through, did you, Robert?
Level was right. If you hadn't cut Coop, this would be a breeze.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but Sonar has a point.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Can you just hang in there a little longer? I'll see what I can do.
Man bomber.
And I'd be right quick about it if I was you.
Shoot. I guess wolves inside us? Ooh. She does not have the ability for this. Oh. Destroy the bomb. Feels gonna be not as hard. Oh!
Fuck, that's on me.
I shouldn't have sent her. I should have seen that coming. Oh, crap. Okay, oh boy.
There's been talk about Coop's old crew being back in town. Think she might have gone back to them after you cut her?
Typical. Coop's switching up on us.
Shut your hole.
Everyone just relax. I'm sure it's just a very unfortunate coincidence.
You're an unfortunate coincidence.
Banging it. I'm gonna rewrite to avoid churches and law offices. I just don't need that kind of drama today.
God, we are struggling right now. No.
Don't sweat it.
Half man, half bat, all freak.
Okay. Welcome back. Okay, destroy the remains of the dilapidated house. So anything with good strength. Throw him down into the strength channel. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Honestly, he might be able to do this on his own. Yeah, we're gonna give it to him.
Hey, it's Rory Casey. One of my teachers called out. There has to be someone at STN who can
Defend,
teach jiu-jitsu
guard,
class.
grapple. Assist with reflex development. Okay, so we need... Honestly, Flambe might be the one for this. He might cover this, like, completely. I'm feeling good. I am feeling good. I'm feeling really good. Yeah, Flambe's got this.
I could burn
Oh.
you down. You're not better than me, Tree. You know, they just have like a superior vibe about them.
Oh, what's it going to be this time?
I think that'll do. We'll throw them both on this one.
My eyes are down here.
I do need a water. Go grab me a water. Did you get it, girl? Please, 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 please. Ooh, huh?
Tried hard. That's what matters.
Ah, shoot. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, come on. We have to have this one, right? We got this. No! You were doing so good!
Bob, I think this is my last stop for the day.
Interesting. We're not done for the day.
But someone's got to go check on Coop.
Fine. Fine, 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 fine. What's out of stock? Let's throw... I want to throw some more vigor at him. I think we're just going to max him out on vigor.
He's a mind reader. She has X-ray vision. Together they are the ultimate invasion of privacy. Oh, sorry. Is this SDN? We need help.
Protect the couple from each other.
Need a light?
You two got this. I believe in you.
Yeah, I love the drama.
Girl, take a lesson.
We need backup at the mall. Dozens of youths just started rushing us and looting the shops.
Okay, I need somebody to wake up. We have no coffee. All right, we cleared everybody out, right? But someone called us a bum. God, your mobility sucks. Your mobility sucks. Can I upgrade any of you? Yes, I can. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, guess what, girl? You're getting mobility and you're going out. Good luck. I believe in you. All right. I don't know if we're gonna have anybody that can fill in here. When her connections with the can reveal the number of slots. Ooh. Ooh. How's everything? How very thing? How's what do you mean in general? Everything's pretty solid. Okay, I think I'm gonna make her mobility girl. We're gonna focus on getting her mobility. Mobility, maybe something else. I'm gonna make her my Coop replacement. Oh, you got this, sweetie. Nice. All right, let's stat him up. I've been loving you with your charisma and intellect, so we're gonna hog that up a little bit. And we're gonna throw you more on that side as well. Amazing. Okay. Shoot. Okay, here we go.
Trevor, you were the last one to see my stapler.
Oh, sweetie.
Was I? I don't think that's true.
You're the prime suspect.
Why would I need to steal your stapler? I already
This one's an
have a
iffy.
stapler.
So what you're saying is now you have 2 staplers.
I'm sucking.
Tried to do it ourselves, but then I remembered my motto in life. Why do it when you can make someone else do it for you?
I hate these people. Oh, shoot. I don't know. Why, man? Altered egos. Standing alive. Activate the AC to freeze the bomb, maybe? We'll see what happens. No, I'm an idiot. No!
I don't care, okay?
Hey, chat. I think I'm too worn out. I think we need to come back to this game when my brain is working better. So I'm calling it. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. I'm not thinking this one through. I'm too tired, too eepy. It's been an extra long stream. We did great. We did amazing so far. And it's definitely come to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm not thinking. My brain is not clear. I'm too in the streamer mindset where I'm having a gosh darn good time hanging out with all of you. But yeah, you know what? That's what we might do. I think we might do Cult of the Lamb tomorrow. Oh, I guess tomorrow's Saturday. We'll see what we do tomorrow. But yes. Brain. Hello, Brain. Brain, where are we? What are you doing, Brain? You don't know either. Good to know. Anyways, let's go take a look at. Dang! Y'all, you know how cool you all are? Do you know how cool you all are? Like, legitimately, so amazing, so fantastic. I've been blessed with this amazing community who's so fantastic, and that's why I give you pillows and snackies and everything else, and just everything, and blah, 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 words. Cool, sorry. Had to make sure you don't leave while I off stream. Had to make sure the door was locked. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your pillows. Let's see if we can find somebody to raid into. I need to rebuild the raid message, by the way. Let's see who we have here. Okay, we have Porcelain Maid's doing a big collab right now, so we don't want to raid into that. It has to be insane collabing with somebody like Porcelain Maid, because I'm looking at the numbers right now, and it's like 87, 72, 697. But Porcelain seems so cool, so I would love to get to meet them. Okay, they're doing ASMR. Let's not raid into that. Leon's doing Death Stranding. That's pretty sick. What are you doing? Birthday month donathon. Kinsey. What are we thinking? Death Stranding, Silent Hill, or Apex? Rough Freaky? Huh? I'll check him out. Joel's awesome. Joel is awesome. Let's see who these people are. Wait, who's this? One second. Oh, wait, I follow a lot of people. 1 second here. We're gonna... Epic 7. Kingdom Noor. Give me a second. I'm still thinking. Y'all can go check out King and Noor. They are pretty cool. Actually, you know what? Kinky Mint. I'll say that Kinky Mint, they looks like they're doing some fun, are they playing with a lot of people or by themselves? Alright, King and Noor. We're checking out King. Y'all be lovely. Y'all be amazing. I appreciate y'all so very, very much. Let me pull up my emojis real quick. Click. Copy. Then we're going to do a... 1 second. Give me a second. I'm waiting. Copy, copy, copy. We're going to do it a little. We're going to do a little. Lucky. Raid. Boop, 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 boop. And there it is. There's the raid message, chat. Copy it, copy it, copy it. You all behave yourselves while you're gone. I'll miss you so very, very much. You're the best. Mwah, 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 mwah. And I will be doing a little TikTok tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do for the TikTok. Wait, before this ends, anybody have any idea for the TikTok? What do y'all want to see? Any ideas? You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Viewer story time. What is viewer story time? What do you mean viewer story time? I sent you a bunch. You did. I sent one in the thingy, band chat, in the server. Your beautiful face. I'm not posting my face. Callers. That's not an idea for a TikTok. Bake Off and You're the Judge. How can I make a TikTok on that? What? No, I have to post one tonight. Bye.